Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. And today we'll be discussing Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992 and From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996. I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
And I'm Jonathan.
I believe we're starting with From Dusk Till Dawn today, Jonathan?
Yeah, no, it'd be a good place to start. I feel like it's the less serious of the two. Not quite so melodramatic.
It's like two movies in one movie.
It really is, because it starts off like completely different and then just goes off the rails as soon as they end up at the bar.
It starts as a really serious bank heist movie.
Right.
And it's like tensions are super high. And like it's pretty like, I don't know, it's schizophrenic at some points. But then once you get to the bar and after you have the strip tease, that's when shit hits the rails and you go full Sam Raimi style, like over the top Robert Rodriguez action horror.
Right, exactly. Where should we start with this for the production notes for it?
This fucking movie's budget was $40 million.
I didn't know that.
Jesus. At the box office, it made $215.8 million.
Oh, God.
So it made a lot of money back.
Oh, wait. I'm lying to you.
It was
I
14
lied.
million. 14.
Excuse me. Budget was $19 million.
Oh, 19 million.
Yes. $59.3 million at box office. Sorry, it made $60 million.
Shit.
Excuse me, $40 million. It made $40 million.
Wait, what were you reading
cannot
before?
math at all. The quarantine has corroded my brain. Damn this quarantine. So I was looking at the Bram Stoker's numbers.
That I believe because it's Coppola and
which we'll discuss later because that's also crazy, and I'll repeat it again for comedic effect.
So it should be noted that this is directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yep.
It is him. It is also written by Robert Kurtzman, who who also helped Quentin Tarantino on Reservoir Dogs.
Wait. From Dusk Till Dawn was written by Quentin Tarantino.
Yes, it was.
No. Hold on. It was written by Robert Kurtzman, but the screenplay was adapted later by Quentin Tarantino. Yep. And the thing is,
this is correct. He is correct there. The story was by someone else, but he wrote the screenplay for it.
I see.
And this was actually Tarantino's first paid screenplay. He got paid $1,500 to write this.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So, and this is also the first time that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez actually worked together on a production.
Nice.
They met at a film festival and they shared their love of Jackie Chan movies and fucking exploitation films, and they quickly became best friends, as we know how they are. Yeah.
I mean, this is just their bromance before they did Grindhouse and those other two movies too.
Yeah.
So really just they just love it.
Also, Tarantino likes playing creepy characters sometimes.
Dude, oh my fucking god! Like,
also, what a clear picture of his foot fetish put on display.
Tarantino's character in this movie is the creepiest weirdo ever.
He's like
the rapiest rapist ever. He engages in his foot fetish like full Monty.
Dude, he was like, "What?
He does not stop.
Just shove your foot in my mouth."
He chomps upon the piggies.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. Since Quentin Tarantino wrote this screenplay, I'm 100% sure he just wanted Salma Hayek's fucking feet in his mouth.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that was written for him.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go over the cast real quick. This is the movie that solidified George Clooney as like a serious actor.
Oh, what really?
Because before that, he was mostly working on ER.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So this was one of those movies that like showed Hollywood, hey, George Clooney's gonna be some hot shit. You guys better listen. Quentin Tarantino obviously is Richard Gecko. These are the Gecko brothers. These are the ones who did a heist, and honestly, I gotta talk about their numbers real quick because these are not amateur numbers. Killing 5 Rangers, 8 police officers, 2 civilians, and taking 1 hostage. Pretty good.
Well, I was like, what else was that? Yeah. What else was George Clooney in? Wasn't he in?
He was in a couple movies prior.
He was in like the Coen Brothers movie, the one where it's like a parody of an old Greek story. It was that "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" is the film. It was this really fucking random.
That's another Coen Brothers movie.
He was in that one, and then he was also in that boat movie, The Perfect Storm, where they were trying to survive out in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
But that was later. That was after.
But here's the thing though. This was his first like major role, like being like the center stage.
He'd only been in Combat Academy, Return to Horror High, Grizzly 2, The Predator, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, Red Surf, Unbecoming Age, and The Harvest. And then From Dusk Till Dawn happened.
Miss him
and after that, it was Batman and Robin, One Fine Day, The Peacemaker, The Thin Red Line, Out of Sight, Waiting for Woody.
That's what I'm saying. This is the movie that opened the door for George Clooney, pretty much. And if I got to be honest, he really fucking hams it up, and not hams it up, but like he is a really great actor. It shows his dynamic range. He executes the comedic lines really well, and he's a force to be reckoned with on screen.
I mean, the first hour of this movie is a Tarantino movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like the dialogue and how it's shot, like the scenes of elevated violence, but it's also very Robert Rodriguez too. If you've seen like any of the Mexico trilogy.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about like Once Upon a Time in Mexico and shit like that.
Yeah. and what was the? Oh god damn it! It's been so long. It's been so long. I forget the other names of them. They're just like single worded movies.
Like Desperado.
Was Desperado Robert Rodriguez?
Yep.
Yeah.
There
you go. It was the Rodriguez trilogy is like his first 3 movies that he made that were like little independent films of his.
Yep.
So, which would be, I think El Mariachi is one of them.
I feel like Desperado is one of them.
Yeah, Desperado is one of them. Yes, you're correct. And I guess like Austin Stories, I believe.
Right.
Yep.
Continuing with the cast though, before we get into plot details.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel as Jacob Fuller. Harvey Keitel, sorry. He's worked with Tarantino a lot. You mostly recognize him from Pulp Fiction as well as Reservoir Dogs. He's also in the Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson.
Wait, which character is he in? He
is Jacob Fuller, the priest that has lost faith, and he like is the dad of the group.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. I had to think about that for a second.
Now we have his daughter, Kate Fuller, played by Juliette Lewis. So she got the part simply because she was friends with Quentin Tarantino, and she was like, "There's not a lot of lines. I kind of want to do some weird shit. Let's do it." Funny enough, though, Scott Fuller, the elephant in the room, Ernest Liu, this is his only acting role.
Wait, Juliette Lewis, isn't she the bad guy in Kill Bill? She's like Bill's right hand woman.
I'm not.
Isn't that the same person?
Sure. It might be.
I gotta go look at it now.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean, the kid. You're talking about the guy that plays the kid, right?
Ernest Liu.
Ernest Liu. Yeah, he doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the funny thing about his character. No one knows how he got casted. What? No one recalls why he was picked.
I would love if he just showed up on set and was like yeah, I'm in this.
Yeah. So nobody really knows why he was there, but he was there. Salma Hayek obviously is Santa Nico Pandemonium, the amazing stripper that strips with a snake.
Isn't this her like debut, like first time on camera? For Salma Hayek, I'm pretty sure this is the first time anyone ever saw her.
I'm gonna give me a moment. I
will say though,
we will check you.
I will say though that she does have a huge ass fear of snakes, and she refuses to be near them. So when she read the script, she knew that her phobia would prevent her from taking it. And Robert Rodriguez was joking to her that Madonna was ready to nab her part So she spent 2 months with therapists to overcome her fear of snakes to do the part.
She was in Desperado.
Yep.
That's it.
right. Mm-hmm.
And then we got the legendary weed smoker himself, Cheech Marin, playing
3 roles.
3.
Fuck yes.
He's 3 people.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
So Cheech Marin plays the border guard, the guy that does the pussy line, which we'll go over later, and Carlos. I will say that Cheech Marin did eventually work again with Robert Rodriguez for Machete.
Yeah.
And speaking of Machete, Danny Trejo is here.
Yep, as the bartender.
A super skinny bartender, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to see him younger.
And like fit.
I mean, he's still pretty fit, even though he's old.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm used to him just being like a block of just fucking.
That's true. He's pretty bulky in the
a
later
block
shit.
of Autobata, dude. Just fucking ready to beat the shit out of you.
Crazy ass vampire bartender.
Yeah.
And then, what is this guy's name Danny trending right now?
Wait, who else is trending? Who else is trending?
Danny DeVito.
Oh,
Danny Trejo.
I mean, Danny DeVito has just never lost any of his popularity.
No.
People just constantly have cared about him.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Last 2, Fred Williamson. He was a legendary ball player, I believe, for football. He plays Frost, the Vietnam War vet.
Yeah.
Also, he was a blaxploitation film legend for the series Black Cobra. So all those like super stylized, over the top 70s black action hero movies, that was Fred Williamson.
Yeah.
Honestly, like his best scene in this movie is when they're inside the bar after all the shit's broken down and he starts talking about his Vietnam War story. And he starts but he sits there doing like these stabbing motions in the air while they're all just watching him do this. And he does all these he's doing it all for 10 seconds. Like him just doing all the the mimes I come around, I stabbed him like this. And I spun him around and stabbed him like this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I stabbed him like this. And it just keeps doing that.
And then he's
while the sex machine's changing.
Oh god. Then he's then he says that quote where he's then my knife was only filled with the blood of an entire VC unit and the flesh of Yellow. And I was oh
so racist.
So bad. But Sex Machine, played by Tom Savini, the horror fucking gore legend himself.
Yeah, for real.
Doing a more serious acting role rather than taking on the effects for them.
I don't know how serious you can be when you have a dick gun.
Hey, it was in Desperado. Leave me alone.
He was pretty damn serious.
Okay, when I mean serious, I mean just being a fucking badass, alright?
That shit was so weird. Even yes.
Okay, but him using the whip, Tom Savini actually knows how to use a whip.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, he's actually trained to use that thing.
That's wild.
As well as I hope he's trained to use that cock gun. It's probably
how does that work though? What is how do you direct it? Is it hip movement? What's the
he just looked at it.
What's the controls?
It's a telepathic connection.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be telepathic.
He attuned to the item, and now it just responds when he thinks he wants it to respond.
I want to call it the love gun in reference to Kiss.
Jesus.
You know what? With all that leather and studs and whatnot, it's pretty Kiss-like.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. You've pretty much got him there.
But speaking about music, here's a fucking piece of trivia for you, Mitch.
What?
Yeah, I think you're gonna like this fact too.
Shit.
There was a music video for a band called Rammstein for the song Engel, and it is direct homage to this film.
Huh.
If you've ever seen that music video, it is vampires, blood, guts, and fucking sexy vampires.
Damn, I'll have to go watch. I can't believe I haven't seen that music video. I really like Rammstein too, but I can't believe I have not seen that music video.
You are the biggest Rammstein fan I know, so I just wanted
that yeah. I know people that are way bigger than me.
Nice.
So I don't want to take any credit for that. I don't want to be known as the biggest Rammstein fan ever.
Fuck.
That's just not the truth.
But yeah, so before this movie was made, there were supposed to be a certain amount of cuts because they didn't want to get the the NR-17?
NC-17.
NC-17, yeah.
Yeah, so they had to make a bunch of minor changes, making the vampire's blood green, as well as like some cuts here and there that like depicted like on crazy decapitation that was just too much for people in the 90s, I guess.
It is extremely easy to get an NC-17 rating.
But after watching Bram Stoker's Dracula, like 92 one, like I'm kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why was this one such a problem? Yet that other one not an issue whatsoever.
That one wasn't an issue because it's Coppola and no one wanted to tell him no.
Right.
They weren't gonna go to
Gotcha.
Francis Coppola and be like, no, you can't make your film. During that time period, they were like, that's just, yeah. He probably had so much sway over the actual rating people.
I don't think I'm aware of this director well enough. So
Yeah, he did The Godfather.
Yeah.
oh, gotcha. Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from Dusk Till Dawn, though, they crammed 15 weeks of shooting into 10 weeks. At the helm for special effects, these guys are Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger of the K&B company. And if you're not familiar with the K&B company, they do the special effects for The Walking Dead, as well as they have done the special effects for Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead movie.
Yep.
One of them being, the big ones being the animatronic puppet rat that just comes out of Savini, which is so weird and uncalled for, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, we have a matte painting by Robert Stromberg, which is also hanging in Robert Rodriguez's mansion to this day.
Oh,
Hell
shit.
Yeah. So, you guys want to get into plot?
I mean, so yes, let's
or
do
like
that.
what, just general thoughts? Like,
yeah. What did you think right up front? You're watching it. You're like, how did you feel about this? Because I have thoughts.
I think this movie starts off really fucking strong with that liquor store scene.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to root for the bad guy and see where they're going.
Right.
And you don't know where it's going. And then when it hits the fan in the second act, it literally hits it at like either the hour or like 45 minutes till end part. That's when it gets super campy and just super like, wow, I did not expect this. This is sick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first saw it from Dusk Till Dawn, I was pretty surprised. I didn't really know what was going on because I hadn't watched. I think I've caught it like halfway through or something. I was watching like a censored version, but rewatching it again after a few years, after forgetting everything about the movie itself, the beginning is really strong. Like it sets this like very Tarantino tone and whatnot. I would say that, and then once it gets into the vampire part, now it's just fun and now it's ridiculous. But the build up and whatnot creates these. It makes the first two characters very interesting. Of course, you just know that his brother's gonna die though.
Right. Yeah.
Tell.
The way they set it up.
Mm-hmm.
After watching it after so many years, because I hadn't seen it in a while, I had like the negative effect. I didn't think it was that good. I was just like, it's okay. Like it's an okay movie, and I think it's just because I wanted more out of it because I liked the intro so much, like you guys had said. And then I feel like at some point I was like, oh, this is really cringy. I don't know if I want to watch the rest of this, but it's still
Really?
enjoyable.
Like what made you cringe?
Just like, well, it's like I already said, the dick gun, and then the like over the top, like stereotypical characters that they had in there, like the blackest of black dudes in the fucking movie is like. They're basically making a parody of like the blaxploitation character that they had in like early 70s, 80s movies. And then just
Yeah, but I mean like that's what he was doing though.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just didn't really like it that much.
I feel here's the thing, like you could argue that this thing could be cut up into two separate movies. Like
yeah, right.
You could say this right here should be a heist movie that turns south for brothers, and then you could also be like, or it could just be a fucking vampire movie. I think it works to its benefit that it's both, because it throws you overboard and you don't expect it the first time, and the second time you see it you're expecting it. It's like a serious movie that turns into a fun just
yeah. I do gotta say
hang
though that Harvey Keitel as the dad is fucking awesome.
I love his dynamic in
Like
this movie.
he's probably like one of the best actors in it. I was like, yo, this is because he's really really good in the beginning and actually shows a pretty good amount of character progression for how ridiculous the movie is.
Well, in the movie, his wife had just died. He is a pastor.
And he was like, fuck this. I'm not about to be a pastor anymore.
He rejects his faith with God and goes on a road trip with his kids.
Right.
And basically the entire movie is him just not hating God, but like coming to terms with his devotion simply because it took away his wife. And she did not die a painful death or a painless death. She like got crushed against a tree and like bled out for 6 hours. And so for someone that's devoted their entire life to God and like becoming a pastor and getting ordained by a ministry, it must hurt, because when everything happens, when you're in that kind of religion sect, you kind of see that, you know, everything happens for a reason and God has a plan for people. And so for him to come to terms with his wife's death, it's like God basically saying like, yeah, I really want you to suffer.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, that was like one of the main things that was super serious about the film was like this pastor pretty much just getting broken because of what happened with his wife, and then him having to like find his faith again later in the film to actually bless some weapons.
Right.
So it was
and
just
like it works well because the entire movie you could tell he hates these brothers. He doesn't
totally.
like how Quentin Tarantino stares at his daughter.
Right.
Even though like he's fucking schizophrenic and like
just
thinks that the
shit.
daughter's coming on to him, like, will you eat my pussy? And he's just like,
That was so weird.
That thing you asked last time that you wanted, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, what did I ask? I didn't ask you for
what?
anything. Oh, you don't really ask?
Super slimy. But
yeah, he's weird.
He doesn't like these people, and by the end of the movie, I like how George Clooney goes to him and says, I don't want to hear about how there's no such thing as fucking vampires. I don't believe in goddamn vampires, but what out there is fucking vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically like, so if there are vampires, then that means that there are hell because they're coming from there. And if there is a hell, by God, there is a heaven. And if there's a heaven, your wife's in it, and you need to get the fuck over it, and you need to bless this holy water, because ain't shit worth to me if you're a fucking, what did he say? A faithless preacher.
Yep. Yeah.
There's no reason to have a preacher if he's faithless, is basically what he tells him. So then fucking Harvey Keitel basically just dusts off his shoes and gets ready to fuck some zombies.
Fucking takes out a shotgun and what else?
Like a bat?
Yeah, he just makes a cross out of it.
Makeshift fucking cross. But the I gotta mention the intro kill, because that intro kill was fucking tight though.
Wait, which one?
The fire one, where like he's like, on the count of 3, I want you to shoot all the bottles from behind him. Fucking he kicks the shelf, lighter fluid and toilet paper fall into his hand just so cartoonishly. It's amazing.
Right, yeah, and then he just like squirts it all over the toilet paper and tosses it in there while it's lit.
The dude's on fire and he's shooting at the dudes.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
So fucking good. And then, you know, we go off. We have like a Texas style, blues style soundtrack to accompany us while they go to the motel. And they have a hostage with them as well.
Right. So this is where this movie gets sort of complicated, because there is
really dark.
Yeah, it gets dark as hell because he like violently rapes this woman and kills her, but like you don't see any of it. You just see like the aftermath, which is her body like all fucked up on the bed. And I was like, oh my God, like it's just so jarring when you're watching it. And I was like, what? Why? Why did they do this? But it was to like show
watch
him
some TV with me.
Right. That was. It's like it's funny to start, and then you're like, oh, this is not good.
I think it was supposed to show that, you know, George Clooney's character is a professional. He even fucking says, I'm a professional. I steal shit and I get the fuck out. I do not murder people. I do not have to. And I do not rape people because that is not who I am. And he's it's obviously he's trying to help his brother out. He even makes sure that he gets his fucking retainer in so he doesn't chomp on his fucking teeth.
That's just so weird because he treats him like such a small kid
during
the whole film. And it's like, it's meant to show his brotherly love for him, where it's like, oh, just raped and murdered someone, dude. Let's just get out of here.
It's like, yeah, I can't. What the fuck is wrong with you, Richie?
Yeah, he even gets mad as fuck. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he went to go get
He like
burgers.
slams his head against like the wall a
Yeah.
couple times. Like, what the hell are you doing? Sort of deal. Yeah.
And we're introduced to the family coming in through our. They don't want to stay at a motel, but, you know, Jacob needs a real bed to sleep in.
Yeah.
That's what he says. And then Quentin Tarantino. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie is when, hey, me and my lady friend don't have an ice bucket. And he's like, can we borrow yours? He's like, yeah, sure. Pulls up the handgun. He's like, what's this? Punch. George Clooney comes into frame, punches him right back onto the bed. It's so good. Love that shit.
That's fuck. He has the creepiest voice too. I don't know what it is about Tarantino, but he's just creepy.
He can just, yeah. He turns on creep factor right when he wants to.
Right, and it's super weird to see him in these like random roles that he likes to take up.
I've never seen him build himself into a role that was a good person.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's in Reservoir Dogs.
What's that?
He was in Reservoir Dogs. Wasn't a good guy. Was not a good guy in that one either.
Nope. And then, I mean, technically speaking, he's a good guy in Pulp Fiction because he's helping them out. But he's still like a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the creepy when the girl comes into the room, what's going on? She's like, and he's like, oh, we're having a bikini contest and you just won.
God, that was awful. I remember that. I was like, I think I just blocked it out of my head. So
Right.
fucked up. And now I'm thinking about how excessive the scene was when Salma Hayek is like straight up sticking half her fucking foot in his mouth and like pouring fucking liquor down his face. I was like, damn, dude, I wonder how many times they shot that. He's just like, it's not right. It's not right the first time.
Like, she didn't even practice that strip dance. That was all like freestyle.
But
I know for a fact that Quentin Tarantino wrote, and she puts the foot deep into his mouth.
Damn.
I know for a fact he fucking.
That's
that
fucking
out.
gnarly for him to just be like, I'm writing this in here.
Did you guys know that when they destroyed the liquor store, that it was actually like a one-shot? It was a one-shot deal. Like they actually did blow it up.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. So they only had one take or one try.
Yeah,
to do
they
it.
did one take for that.
Fuck.
For them leaving it. There's actually like debris falling as they're leaving it.
I saw that. I was like, dude, that
stuff.
looks like
It's real.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Well,
Mitch,
that's
I have a question for you though.
Whoa.
What's in Mexico?
What's in Mexico?
Mexicans.
Mexicans are in Mexico. It's true. Also, there were Mayans in Mexico.
Oh man. Yeah, ironically, so it goes from a wild ass movie to be like, oh, JK, it's actually like a temple. And I was like, wait, what?
What? Yeah, exactly. But it's like a Mayan temple.
Yeah.
And they've been like working here for thousands of years.
Yeah, it like
basically.
zooms out and you see this giant like staircase down with all the bodies. So I was like, I didn't know what they were trying to connect to.
Well, here's the thing, like the matte painting is basically just trying to tell you like this has been here for like years, hundreds of years probably. You know, just killing bikers and truckers, taking their stuff. But what I think it was supposed to spawn off a series, either a prequel or a sequel. And that's what it did because they were starting to do the straight to DVD stuff.
Yep.
So I think a couple years later, they did a fucking 2 straight to DVD releases in the same year. It was Dusk Till Dawn 2 and 3, and they're not good. But the third one I know is a prequel, and it goes more into in-depth about
wasn't there also
was there and the people
a TV show as well?
Yeah, and so 18 years later, we got a fucking TV show, a 10-episode TV show that is literally just the fucking Quentin Tarantino screenplay stretched out. And in my opinion, just watch the movie. Like, I don't think we needed a remake of it.
No, definitely
in a 10-episode format
definitely
for fucking
not.
Netflix.
Yeah, that was weird. I watched like 3 episodes of it, and I didn't want to watch it anymore.
I mean, like you've seen the movie, you know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
They're like, it's pretty much like scene for scene remake.
Yeah, it's
just
drawn out.
yeah,
A lot of
it's not
filler.
worth
It
that
should
too.
also be noted that for George Clooney, he actually won the MTV Movie Award for the Best Breakthrough Performance and the Best Actor.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, and then he won the Fangoria Chainsaw Award for Best Actor, and the movie itself won Best Horror Film. This is all at the MTV Movie Awards, so take that how you like. Those are really
Oh, wow.
like people don't really give a fuck about those anymore, to be honest.
Yes, because if I'm, debating the quality of entertainment,
Right.
MTV is my
MTV
shit.
is the shining fucking example.
I trust them.
Holy shit.
wholeheartedly.
I mean, really though, like it's just how people feel about the Oscars and shit. Where it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks
Yeah, but here's the thing:
Yeah.
like, the Oscars never had a company that made 16 and pregnant. All right.
Oh, yeah, but the Oscars is very white, so same shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Hey, it was very white. But who was taking home the fucking awards last year? My boy Bong.
Wait, what? Oh, for
My
the
boy-
fucking Parasite? Didn't he just win like one
Yeah.
award?
No, he won like 7 awards, dude.
Oh, dang, I wasn't paying attention.
Parasite won like 7 awards.
Good. I'm glad it fucking mopped up.
And fucking Joker fans everywhere were fucking disgusted.
That movie is trash. I
Uh,
actually watched it and I was like, this isn't even like that good. It's I don't know. I don't know why people were really
I haven't seen
ranting
it
about
yet,
it.
so I can't give an opinion on it.
I enjoyed Joker. It just wasn't like my movie of the year
it's a
choice,
solid,
really.
well-made movie,
Right.
but it's not like the grandest thing ever. I don't know why I got
You know,
so much
I see
attention.
what Chris was telling us, but it was like inside the actor's studio, the movie.
Totally.
And so, like, I see that more with that one than I do with the Lighthouse. But I get it though. But I see it in both of them in a way.
I know. I'm obsessed. I'm still obsessed with The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I still love that movie. It's great.
We stand the Lighthouse here at Bringing Down the Grindhouse.
yeah, we stand at the Lighthouse, but I will talk a little bit of shit on the Joker. Although I did enjoy the movie, I did enjoy it, but it didn't really need the Batman
Right. Yeah.
thing at all. It didn't need to be Batman. It could have been
yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Segueing back to the vampire movie.
Yeah, get us back to the vampires. What the
I'm
fuck?
sorry. Okay,
Myrna, why would you take us on this weird
I'm
tangent?
God damn.
Why would you do that? John, why would you do that?
I didn't do that.
You know what? That's it. You're firing me from the podcast.
God damn it, Mitch.
It's over now.
No.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
All right.
I can do this with suspense because you don't actually know if I'm going to do it or not.
Here's what I want to talk about with
What's
this movie. Okay.
What movie, Mer?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
All right.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
The kills, dog. Let's get into this shit.
The kills?
Oh.
Fuck yes.
Let's get into this shit. Like, for real. They get to the bar, and, like, it is rowdy as fuck.
Yep. They got that
You know,
band playing.
But we gotta talk about the pussy part first before they even get into the bar.
That's just
Cheech
so fucking
Marin
funny.
being like the promoter for this fucking
Right.
titty twister. We got white pussy. We got black
The
pussy.
whole fucking
We
paragraph.
got yellow pussy. We got wet pussy. We got warm pussy. We got cold pussy. We got stanky pussy. We got dog pussy. Horse pussy. Chicken pussy. We got pussy for 1 penny. And if you could find pussy for anywhere cheaper, fuck it.
Oh my god. I can't believe he got through that entire line without laughing.
I love it, dude.
Just the whole
great.
bit. I was like, oh my god. Like everyone
hope-
on set must have been flipping out.
I hope he gets credited as like pussy promoter on the fucking like credits.
I know, I need to look up exactly what he's credited as for that character.
Oh man. But we get into the bar and basically we're introduced to this ragtag team of a couple weird people. Got Danny Trejo up in there. We got a fat guy that really doesn't like George Clooney.
Right. Oh,
We
also
got-
that band in there is a
Yeah.
Chicano rock band called Tito and Tarantula.
Yep.
It's fucking
Oh,
sick.
they're
They
an
are-
actual band.
They're an actual
and they're-
band, yeah.
They are on the soundtrack as well.
Yeah, also on
Oh,
the
very cool.
soundtrack. Yeah, they were on the soundtrack with like ZZ Top, Stevie Ray, and like Jimmy Vaughn. So it was like all of them were on there. It was a great soundtrack.
It is a lot of fun. Then like they actually do the song for
Yeah.
what is it? Salma Hayek.
Yeah. They do her
Striptease.
special song when she comes out, and then they transform too.
Yeah, which is really crazy because they have like weird body
parts.
guitars.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, their transformation's great because it's just a torso with strings over it and a head bobbling around on the end.
Fuck
And
yeah.
I really don't know how it works. And I love how they just kind of explode later on. Like they don't do anything. They don't kill anyone. They just sit up there and play, and then they explode at the end. Fuck you guys. Good night. You know.
So the catalyst for this is before they entered the titty twister, George Clooney breaks the hand and the nose of Pussy promoter, and the brother kicks his ribs in. So then they come in, they want to scuff, and I love how it's shot with these like super fast frames, guns being drawn, shots being fucking taken out, knife getting stuck into Quentin Tarantino's hand into the table, and then him grabbing it and stabbing Trejo in the heart a million times. And everyone like transforming into fucking vamps. All the strippers, Salma Hayek with like a weird snake head kind of thing.
Yeah, that was wild.
Little reptilian. And it just gets into fucking chaos. And that's when we have like some of the best kills. We got like the sex machine with his fucking love gun. That's what I'm calling it.
Love gun.
He's fucking whipping people, fucking decapitating them. And then we got Frost, dude. The dude literally like turns over a table and just drops 4 strippers on the legs of it.
Yo, that shit is so fucking funny.
Oh, that shit was great. I really like the special effects though. I mean, like the KMB company fucking did From Dusk Till Dawn right, and I'm glad because it's one of those movies
cheap.
that pays tribute to exploitation and like those Saturday reels, because that's what Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez are about.
Right.
And so it is homage as well as a lineage continuation.
Also, Danny Trejo was in all 3 of the movies, the 2 sequels.
Yeah, but Danny Trejo just likes being in horror.
He loves being in everything. That man does not say no to a movie.
Yeah, he's like the Mexican Nick Cage.
And fucking Samuel Jackson does the same shit. He just never says no to a movie. Have you seen his filmography? He's been in so many things that I've like never heard of. I'm like, I should just go watch this because Sam Jackson.
Right.
It's totally worth it for something like that. But what did you guys think about the like ending for this? Just kind of leaving it open like that.
I thought like the ending conflict was fucking tight. Seeing Savini change into a vampire, him trying to hide it.
Right.
I thought when Frost turns into a vampire, it looks like Jim Henson's dinosaurs.
Oh no. Are you talking about like the fucking movie we watched?
No. Like he looks like one of the characters from Jim Henson's Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I mistook what you said. Okay, but still funny.
Like his face is like complete. It looks like the baby from Jim Henson's Dinosaurs.
Right.
It does though.
It's really memey. I don't know. It used a lot of CGI in the movie, especially for like the blood effects, like when they dissolve. Salma Hayek gets the chandelier through her entire body and burns
right.
up to a crisp.
I felt like this movie was, even though the film is kind of long, the story was pretty short. Like there wasn't a whole lot of complexity to it. They were just like, get to point A, from point A to point B, and that's it. And then you're going to run into vampires on the way. And that's kind of like, that was it. That was the whole thing. It wasn't like the epic long storyline of Dracula where like he loses his wife and is like, fuck God, I'm going to turn into Dracula, and then goes and tries to kidnap this guy's wife. Like it's just, it seemed so much simpler, but it wasn't too negative in that sense because it was a good action, like extravagant movie that you could watch.
Right. This is that movie that makes you like root for the bad guy, and like you're on your edge of your seat the first time you watch it because you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, like anybody can die in that movie.
And like George Clooney's character comes to the realization that he just kind of like fucked over this entire family.
Oh, totally.
Like, I mean, but they do have that cool scene where they gear up. He makes like a giant fucking spear, like machine that like
It's like on a
stabs
drill.
bunch of people. Yeah, like the kid gets holy water in his balloons from the priest
Fucking
and
great.
like his water guns. The chick's rocking a crossbow.
Right.
It's really fun. And then you got the torso fucking shotgun, the shotgun through the torso, killing people in the back. Super. But then his brother changes, and this is where like the movie concludes with Richard Gecko's story. He was a pervert. He didn't have a lot of lines near the end of the movie.
No, he really didn't.
He wanted to write more for him, but he looked at the script and saw that it was already full and that there was nothing he could really add. So he's like, I'm gonna get a sick ass striptease, and that's it.
His brother, though, George Clooney's character, I felt like he was kind of relieved, though, in some way. After his brother died,
I could see that.
Like he didn't want to deal with him anymore, and he got all, he was able to get away with some money.
Right, and the thing is, like, Quentin Tarantino's a fucking psychotic bastard in this movie, dude.
Right.
And so, like, you're kind of afraid of him, but at the same time, you're kind of like, you look at him like a little brother that's just like doing too many bad things.
Oh yeah, totally.
So I could understand George Clooney. I love the ending though. Shoot the fucking door, shoot the holes into the fucking thing, and then he's like, Cheech Marin comes over. He's like, hey, what's up with that, man? Were they psychos? And he's like, psychos do not fucking explode when exposed to sunlight. Those were goddamn vampires, you crazy son of a bitch. And then he's like 20%, because his brother's dead. My brother is fucking dead. I killed her entire family is dead. It was like, I want 20%. I want you to only take 20%. It's like,
right.
25, man, 25. I'm like, really, dog?
Yeah. What the fuck?
I'd be pissed. And I also like that he isn't a pedophile at the end of it, because what is it? Juliette Lewis's character, Kate. She's like, you need some company, Seth? And he's like, I'm a bastard, but I ain't a fucking bastard.
Well, this would be a good time to move into talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
The visual epic that is Bram Stoker.
It really is, like, it's pretty iconic in film. Just as
it's amazing.
It's so I feel like it was really complex. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of commentary to be made about the film. Like, Coppola was not just doing one thing with the film. He had several things going on. And then it's a remake of a classic story that's been done so many times.
But here's the thing with these remakes about Dracula. None of them are really that adapted from the book. They go off,
exactly.
Except for Nosferatu.
Yeah,
Nosferatu
exactly.
was bare bones, like, remake book, but
so
changed names so they could legally have that.
Yeah.
This is the second thing that comes closest to my understanding.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Winona Ryder getting her is like very seldom, because she was supposed to be in Godfather 4 or 3, sorry. And basically she opted out, and then she brought the script to Frank Coppola and was just like, hey, do you want to fucking do this? It's like, yeah, sure, and you'll be like the main chick in this.
Yeah, this cast is crazy. Gary Oldman as Dracula, Winona Ryder as Mina, Anthony Hopkins as fucking Professor Van Helsing, and Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker. Like, it's so good. That's like such a solid group of people to have a movie with.
There is a lot of criticism of Keanu Reeves' performance in this movie in comparison to the other actors as well. But I honestly think that he did fine.
Well, he was supposed to be the husband who was like getting his wife stolen. What do they want from him?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I feel like they
always for the British accent.
Oh, okay. I could see that. Yeah, that's pretty awful.
Yeah. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Didn't ruin the movie for me.
Right. And we've already mentioned it too, that it was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and he's really well known for like a whole slew of movies that he's really been involved with, from like The Godfather to The Great Gatsby to like Apocalypse Now. Like, there's just some of the like the main ones you'll recognize. And it's crazy too, because like so many people related to him are in the film industry. Like his sister is an actress.
I
Talia
wanted to
Shire.
mention about his son actually.
Yeah, what about his son?
So real quick, just some like little background info. We talked about it earlier, but the budget for this movie was $14 million.
Yeah.
It made $215 million.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, it made a lot of money, and on top of that, it won 3 Academy Awards.
Yeah. That's
for sound editing, makeup, and costume design.
dang. That's hard to fucking win it in those.
Yeah.
So that's
Costume design, obviously, though.
Yeah, oh totally. The whole thing is amazing. They probably spent so much money on the costumes.
Right. So I'll get to his son real quick, but they storyboarded the entire film, and it took over 1,000 images.
Oh my god.
And they wanted to put as much detail into costumes as possible, so they could sell off the 1800 aesthetic really hard.
Yeah, it would look weird if it was like really plain outfits.
Yeah, they dropped $40 million on this movie.
It's
40 million. Okay, yeah,
40
not
million
14
budget.
Not 14 million. 40
No,
million.
40 million for Bram Stoker's Dracula. You're looking, that's how much it was. They spent
But
the box office. It was $215.8 million.
They were like,
made.
35 million costuming.
Yep. So here's the thing, though. So Coppola had a lot of problems with the visual effects team that he hired, simply because they wanted to use a lot of CGI of just newer visual effects for the movie.
Yeah.
And he got so fed up and pissed off at them, he fired the entire team.
Oh shit.
And then he looked to his son and hired Roman Coppola. And he was like, I need you to use the old style of filming for this. So Roman Coppola was using all kinds of old school camera techniques. So on-set or rear projections or multiple exposure shots for like scenes that were like seldom on or like plastered on top of each other. Because we have like a lot of traveling scenes in this movie. As well as like using the mix of miniatures and matte paintings, as well as upside down cameras. So Coppola got what he wanted because he wanted stuff that was like pre-50s for this movie, and he got pre-50s shots.
Nice.
And so he fought for that. I mean, he wanted to use as little CGI as possible. Because I mean, with it's Dracula, it's an old story. You gotta be chill with it.
Right.
One of the things with this movie in comparison to the book story is they actually inserted a romance. Rather, they inserted like a romance that was not actually in like the books, the book itself.
Between Gary Oldman and
Elisabetta.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. That was not in the original story because the original story just describes Lucy having bites and how she is like changing and things like that. And it's just kind of like this weird like mystery sort of story. But in this story for the movie, they actually add a little bit of history to Dracula as a person. And so it actually makes his character more compelling.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons why I enjoyed this movie so much. They did such a good job. And Gary Oldman's just great also.
God, he's so good.
Too.
He's the ultimate chameleon actor.
Yeah.
He's been so many roles.
And the thing is, he plays multiple roles in this. He plays
exactly
the old Dracula with like the super crazy
man,
hair.
I love that hairstyle. It's so fucking extra for the time period. Like he's just wanting to be the most extravagant vampire. They need to know that he is Dracula.
The way he walks, dude, how he just slides.
Fucking glides. Like he had to have been on something, but it's just a really good like specific walk they told him to do, and he had the robes on so you can't like really see his feet.
His robes are long as shit
so
too.
It's just like gliding across the floor. It's so great.
Then he has to play like the young Dracula, obviously, because
which has
whose powers
badass armor.
Right. Oh yeah, the armor that looks just like muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, muscle fibers.
That was so great.
And then he also has to play the werewolf, Gary Oldman in this as well.
Right.
Well, yeah, he has to he plays like, I mean, the Dracula in this movie has the wolf form, And I mean, that's what's in Nosferatu also.
Right.
Like he can transform into a wolf or a rat or a bat or something along that. Like there's like selected animals that vampires can transform into, and I find that very interesting.
His final form
overall.
is like that giant bat in the room with Elizabeth
Mm-hmm.
before returning back to the old disgusting old man version, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
So like this movie starts out pretty epic, I gotta say though. We're in the 1400s and there's a war with Vlad the Impaler fighting off against the Turks, and it is told that Elizabeth is told through like paper message that Vlad the Impaler has died.
Fake
so
messages.
She fucking jumps off the fucking castle and fucking commits suicide.
Yeah.
And this is what I was like thinking, like they bring the body back. They find the dead body and they bring it all the way to the castle. And that's when he has his I think it's is it Latin? Does he speak Latin?
I'm pretty sure.
Or is it French? I don't know at all.
Are you talking about when he just gets really mad and stabs the cross?
Yeah, he vows against God because he was like a very easy patient person with him, and that he was always a fighter for God.
Yeah.
And takes his sword and stabs the cross, which bleeds fucking crazy, dude.
This is such good storytelling because it's so overdramatic, and he is just denouncing God in front of the fucking cross that he's standing there, like over the dead body of his wife, and stabs the cross and drinks the blood from it, and it turns him into like the anti-god, which is Dracula. It's just so great. It was a whole lot of good stuff in one piece, and it's such a good intro to his character because you know why he's mad like the rest of the film and why he becomes so obsessed with that guy's wife, where it's like, oh, it looks exactly like my wife, I have to like have her.
Yeah, I mean, like in my opinion, it is like a great ancestor. Elizabeth was her great ancestor, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like probably totally possible for something like that to happen.
And same with Anthony Hopkins' character, because he played like one of the priests in the 1400s as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's right,
As well as our narrator.
Yeah, he's so good, and he looks so much younger in this film, which is weird to say because I have only seen I feel like I only have an old image of fucking Anthony Hopkins. He
looks good, dude. I mean, like, especially with all the Van Helsing getup, like he really chums it up in this, dude. Like he's a delight on screen, in my opinion. A lot of people were criticizing him because they think he just hams it up too much.
I mean, the character fits that though. Like, it's Van Helsing. He was a fucking he was originally like a demon hunter, but it's like it sort of varies like what they did for the film.
Right.
Van Helsing, as far as a character is concerned. So, like, in the original, so if we're going book Van Helsing, he's just a very eccentric doctor.
Yeah.
Like, really eccentric. He's way more, Anthony Hopkins does an amazing job. This is, like, my favorite, like, Van Helsing.
Oh,
like,
totally.
more, my favorite, aside from, like, I know there's, like, the Demon Hunter ones, the Monster Hunter version.
Right.
But I love this one because when he finds out that it's a vampire, like, an actual vampire, he gets so excited that he, like... tells the suitors of Lucy, like, while humping their legs, that she is the harlot of the devil now.
Yes. He's so excited. He's so excited
just,
for that.
Like, so, like stoked on it. Like, we have to drive a stake into her heart and cut off her head now. It's gonna be great. Just like...
I love that.
He's so excited. I love him. He's great.
I think my favorite one is when he's talking to his old student, who also runs the asylum, which also had the old character of Dracula, or the old suitor of Dracula. Basically, he was just like, all right, Jacob, I've taught you a lot of stuff. So, she's losing blood, yes. And there's no blood around her, yes. And there's bite marks, yes. So, what do you think? You can't see it, but you can see it. So, what is it going to be? What, you think something came over, sucked the blood out of her, and left? He's like, most likely. You should put two and two together, man. You were my student.
He's like, please figure this out.
Yeah, but I feel like the character of Van Helsing has been like changed over time to be more of like a heroic like monster hunter sort of thing.
Exactly.
But he was never like that. He was always just the doctor that came over to check out the vampire victim and recognizes that it's a vampire.
Oh yeah.
And figures it out. That's it. That's all he really does. I mean, he kills some vampires, but he does it when they're like asleep. So he's not really like the Geralt Rivia of, you know, of Dracula. You know, he's not really like that level of, you know, powerful person. I don't know.
We did have that Hugh Jackman Van Helsing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was like the heavy demon hunter. Like,
yeah, that's the Monster Hunter version.
Monster Hunter, he like works at the Vatican, like it's all sorts of stuff.
I think he was like that in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen also. Is Van Helsing in that one? Is he?
I don't think Van Helsing is in that
yeah,
one.
He is. If not, then I'm wrong. Anyway,
wait, now I'm thinking about it.
This movie, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's so 90s. Like all the shots are super flowery.
Yeah,
and whatnot, and has like that
like
glamour like look
filter.
all the time. You know what I mean?
It has that like super just in your face 90s style.
Yeah, exactly.
I love. I think my favorite shot in the entire movie is when Keanu Reeves is on the train from Budapest, and you see the Dracula's eyes superimposed in the sky, and the
oh my god,
dude. The sky is like a brimstone fire red. It looks so evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love how, because it's so reminiscent of the 1930s and 1950s Dracula, well, you know, the ones with Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi, how the way up to the castle, dude, how like super crazy and dark it is. Like, I love how extravagant these castles look, even though they're crumbling. I love how the carriages works, as well as the wolves and like the weird blue flame that's suddenly around it. Like you feel like you're getting into a crazy, weird fucking world that you can't explain. Like he looks over like the carriage and he sees there is just a ravine straight down.
Right.
He is like almost about to fall off of it. It's just, I don't know. Everything about that, especially when he gets into the castle, I feel like there's a threshold that is crossed when you are invited into a vampire's castle. Like, cause like vampires can be invited into your house, right? Or like they have to invite you into their house for you to go into them.
It depends on the mythology.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So
like like even in this movie, like I don't think that's even relevant to them. They don't give a, because Dracula straight up just goes into people's houses in this movie. Like, you don't give a fuck.
Right. But the thing is, when Keanu Reeves first comes in, he has to be invited into the house. And I feel like there was a threshold that he crossed when he entered the castle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I also like the callback to the original, with the Nosferatu like reference, the boxes of Earth.
Yeah, that's actually from the story. That's canon. He actually does, because he cannot like exist on not his own land, so he sleeps on the grounds of Transylvania.
That's so great.
Yeah,
yeah,
that,
which is great. I love that. Yeah.
I had this thought: if you're a vampire and like you're not rich, you're not going to be able to travel, because it takes like 10 to 15 boxes of this Earth, as well as you inside it, and like a fucking ship to ship this over around.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like
I have to assume that if you're alive that long, you find some way to get some wealth.
You know, you guys, this is probably one of the sexiest vampire movies I've ever seen.
God, you obviously haven't seen Twilight.
Fuck off. Anyway, so this movie is probably the sexiest vampire movie you'll ever watch. Because the vampires in this one are like erotic and shit.
Oh,
like when they're like, it's like an erotic feeding frenzy for them.
Are you talking about his mistresses?
All the
time though. It's like every single time there's feeding going on, it's a sexual endeavor for them.
Totally.
Like Lucy's character.
Every single time.
Oh my god, she is
every single Yeah. And also a babe. Wow.
I love her intro scene. How she's
Man.
like, how she like introduces all three men that are interested in her to Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And she flirts with all three of them at the same time.
Oh my god.
Yo, that's
Yep.
fucking
Super
pro
fucking dope.
skills. Like, what do you do? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, they're all suitors for her.
exactly. Yeah,
That's one of the big. That's one of the big reasons.
All
One of
competing.
the big deals. That's why they're all there. I mean, one of my favorite things is like I love assigning like party roles or like imagining like D&D campaigns that are based off movies.
yeah.
And so like the fight, like getting to Dracula's, like catching up to Dracula when he's running away from them, and then surrounding his coffin that he's sleeping in, and like subduing his like, you know, mind controlled goons. And then like when he bursts out, they like the way that they display that how strong Dracula actually is when he's weakened, by the way, is that he one shots a person.
Yeah.
Like he just punches a dude and he dies.
Dead.
He, all he did, like the cowboy stabbed him and slit his throat, and then fucking just gets one shotted by a fist.
So fucking
He
funny.
one punch man's this guy. Like,
It's pretty fucking funny, man.
yeah.
His
He just-
only real weakness is that he wanted specific people to be with him, and so through all of his efforts trying to get this specific wife is really what caused him all of this shit. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
like, nobody would have been able to kill him.
Well, here's the thing: if he wouldn't have lost his wife, none of this would have happened.
Also, that.
Yeah, that's really is the big thing, as well as it all started with a lie. And so it's sort of like him overcoming his grief. That's really what it is. And I think a lot of horror tries to do that sometimes, where it
Right.
tries to overcome some sort of traumatic event through, I don't know, displaying that event or suffering through.
Here's what I wanted
for it.
to say about the movie. Dracula's a good guy. You know, at the beginning of the movie, he
Oh, I
is a
see.
good guy.
Yeah.
He's devoted to God. He loves his wife. He's defending his nation. He crosses that threshold to become the deviant of Satan simply because his wife was taken from him. But by the end of the movie, when Winona Ryder's character, you know, has the final fate push of the button for him, he returns to a human form. You see it
Yeah.
happen, and he is allowed to go into heaven and rest with his wife.
Which is wild. Like, he dies the place that he, like, turned.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He has a redemption arc, but the entire ride there is so fucking. It's deviant and bloody and gory, and
It's also completely different from, like, say, the Castlevania series, where, like, Dracula ends up in hell with his wife. Instead of,
Mhm.
like, going to heaven, they're, like, locked away in some deep part of hell.
wait, is this in season 3?
Yeah, I mean, you already knew that.
I haven't seen season 3. I hate you.
What? You know, like, never mind. Anyway.
See, I
hate
knew
you.
that.
You can't just spoil that for me, John. God damn it. I'm okay. Well, I'm gonna continue. Okay, hold on. May I say something though?
Yeah.
Since we're on the Taka Castlevania,
Yeah.
is a vampire episode.
Yeah.
Symphony of the Night, made by Konami in 1997, 5 years later, they actually adapted the Mist and Wolf forms for Dracula
Hell
in their
yeah.
game. Because you go around the castle and then the entire castle flips, but you find these orbs that give you certain powers.
Right.
You are able to transform into a wolf and the Mist form, like he does in the end, where like they're destroying the Earth in London.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, speaking of video games, there's a big reference to this Dracula movie, Conker's Bad Fur Day for Nintendo 64.
What the fuck?
Have you ever heard of that game?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Who doesn't heard of that?
Okay, for the people who don't know, Conker's Bad Fur Day was Rare, the people who made Banjo Kazooie and such. It is their only rated R game, or rated M for
Rated
mature
M.
game. My bad. And it is so over the top, disgusting, and just really raunchy comedy. But there is a part where he has to go and meet a ancestor of his in a castle, and it is a fucking squirrel that looks exactly like Gary Oldman's character.
Oh my god.
And they do a scene for scene remake of Keanu Reeves eating chicken and who's the guy on the painting? Just like,
Oh my god.
he's like, you will not make fun of my ancestors. And then
That's fucking great.
it's pretty funny. But then in that story, Conker gets turned into a vampire for a little bit. No, not a vampire, a vamp squirrel. Yeah, a vamp squirrel.
Vampire squirrel hybrid.
Yeah, make
Fucking
that a magic
gross.
That'd be great if they did something like that.
card.
Just like one of the joke cards.
I back it.
But like it would have to be a squirrel in like the 1930s Dracula outfit, like the cape and little red tie.
Yeah, Mark Rosewater, get on that shit. But yeah, okay, we got to go over the killing of Lucy.
like how so?
How over the top and crazy it is, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she gets turned. She starts dying. He sneaks in. He comes into her house as a wolf.
Yeah.
Feasts on her, but the room like blows up with blood.
Yep. They must have just like threw it at the walls. And
It's like they put two giant balloons
yeah.
on either side, and we're just like, all right, light them up, and then just. I do love the amount of blood.
Right.
Is pretty great, yeah.
I want to see who did the special. Keep talking.
I don't know. That was just what it was. I've always thought that scene was kind of funny.
So then,
But
what
it's
were
clear she's dead.
your guys' favorite scenes then from both movies?
Ooh.
For me, from Dusk Till Dawn, it is when. Oh, shit! It's the opening scene with the liquor store, and
Right.
then the final matinee, because like it tells you that there is a bigger story. But I'm glad that they don't try to like go off of it. I mean, they made the sequels, but I don't really give a fuck about that. I just like how cryptic and Mayan and sketchy it looks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, heads up to like that entire fight sequence in the bar with all four of those people.
You know, when they're doing that, it looks like a Left 4 Dead cover.
It
They're all
does.
standing in front of the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they have the four.
Yeah.
Four.
Yep, just the four of them standing there. It looks like they're ready to go play some Left 4 Dead. Like, let's go. This is Left 4 Dead 3.
Hell yeah.
And then for the Coppola Dracula, which is unofficially the title of this Dracula. I gotta say, when Keanu Reeves is traveling by train and you see that evil fucking red sky and the blue eyes from Dracula, it is seriously crazy. And I love how manic and crazy his prior assistant is in the asylum.
Right.
Renfield is actually is part of, there was a Nosferatu and is also in the story. And his weird obsession with flies and spiders and whatnot has always been really weird and enigmatic to me.
He is over the top and really great, and he warns Winona Ryder "Hey, if you are here, he is most definitely here, and he is around me." And it's pretty chilling, because you know that he's a good person. He's just being controlled by Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that dynamic. But I gotta give it to the red sky with the eyes, because they did the miniature with the train, they superimposed the eyes over there, and they did the backlight shotting where they have the rear projection. It's just 3 different scenes glued on top of each other to make this one fluid motion. So from a filmmaking and production standpoint, that takes the cake for me.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Go. Someone else. Say what scenes were.
Favorite scenes?
Yeah.
Favorite scenes from Dusk Till Dawn. Ooh, goddamn. Probably just the entire mayhem that breaks out, when the bar finally breaks out. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. When you realize there are vampires in the bar, and then everyone starts fighting, essentially, that entire sequence. when it comes to Bram Stoker's Dracula, my favorite scene in this movie, well, while there's quite a few of them, I think one of my favorite ones is when they go into Lucy's tomb to kill her.
Yeah.
Like to check to see if she's undead or not.
And she's not in the tomb.
Yeah, and she's not in the tomb. She's not in her coffin, and she comes walking down in the dress with the child.
Yo.
Scary shit. That scene actually made me uncomfortable when she was bringing the child down.
I was like, oh shit, yeah. And then they like encounter her. It's just a really like actually chill. It's probably one of the scarier moments in the movie, in my opinion. And it was also just a really good, like, it was just well shot and just really, really well put together. I wish I had something better for from Dusk Till Dawn, but honestly, like the whole beginning of the movie is very like intriguing, but you kind of throw a lot of that away later on,
right?
With how the rest of the movie plays out.
What about you, John?
From Dusk Till Dawn, it was definitely when the band is playing while they're transformed. And just have like those body part fucking guitars and other shit that they're using, but also how they decided that they were gonna have this scene where it's like, yeah, Salma Hayek in a bikini dancing with a fucking snake, and then what do? They make her like the ugliest vampire you've ever fucking seen.
How do I forget the Salma Hayek scene?
And it's just
that's definitely probably one of my favorite scenes from the movie, to be quite honest, because it's. If there was ever a freak flag that flew in a movie, this is one of them for fucking for Quentin Tarantino.
Right. Anybody who ever watched this movie during that time period, everybody knew about that specific scene. They were like, yeah, that's how people found out about Salma Hayek.
She's the girl that sticks her foot in Tarantino's mouth.
So fucking funny. Like, I wonder if she was just reading the script and was like, yeah, that sounds legit, I'll do that. Or if she was like, why the fuck? What you want me to hold a snake and you want me to do this other shit? Like,
I guess one of the things that was said, I guess George Clooney said something along the lines to Quentin Tarantino, where he was just like, dang, you get like one of the most gorgeous women in the world's foot in your mouth, and I'm gonna be over here covered in blood and guts and whatnot and nothing. That's what you're gonna put yourself in your own movie.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
When you screenplay and act,
right? Exactly.
You do whatever the fuck you want.
About to put yourself in a good spot.
You just say like, "Hey, she's sticking her foot in my mouth, and I'm gonna drink alcohol off it." All right, man. Like, oh, she's like, "Okay."
I bet Tarantino was like, "No, it wasn't done right the first time. Try it again." No,
right.
Not done right.
Like,
do it again.
A few takes.
Yeah.
Just to be a dick.
It's like 10 takes in. And they're like, "Are you sure? Like, we're like running out of booze here."
Yeah. No, I just spice some more. It's fine. We're up the budget.
It's cool. It's cool. For fucking Dracula, I think that intro scene is still killing it. Like, for him,
it's so good too.
Just for like, it sets up the story so well. You get to see this dramatic transformation.
The silhouette shots in the opening.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
I love those. It reminds me of like the 300 shots and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good reference. Yeah.
How he's like choking Keanu Reeves like with his shadow.
He's choking what? Say that again.
Do you remember when he was choking Keanu Reeves in the shadow when he first finds the picture of Winona Ryder?
Yeah. I love that he just fucking obsesses over his wife here. He's just like, I'm gonna fucking just trap this guy here and go get his wife.
Dude, the whole shave scene was super crazy. How he's like licking the fucking knife.
Yo, that's so like that has been seen so many times, like in GIFs and random shit.
Also, how he fucking crawls up on the side of his walls.
Yep.
Like, oh, I really like the shot of the cross falling down and the Turk fucking moon coming up on the castle.
Oh yeah. It's so good because of the direction that came from Coppola, because he is like one of the best filmmakers. And he ended up directing it in such a way that you were pulling the story right out of the book, and it was meant to be just as dramatic as when it was first written. And so he did the same effect where he put it as a period piece. It wasn't like a modern day interpretation of like the story. And so it ended up being something that fit really well. And then he upped it by getting this huge budget for the costuming, so like it would be believable.
This is a visual epic, and like if you can't really follow, or like if you think it's boring because of story, visually you will be intrigued the entire.
Yeah, that's fair. So then, what would you
Yeah.
guys rate both films then?
For fun factor, I give From Dusk Till Dawn 8.
Nice.
I give Bram Stoker's Dracula a 10 though. My
Ooh.
first 10.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a 10 before.
This is a movie that will be timeless
Oh,
for
yeah.
the period of the 90s, as well as something that is just entirely its own worm, so to say. It has so much going where it connects the actual book to the real world events of Vlad the Impaler,
Yeah.
to the ideas that it's a tragic love story with a lot of horror and gore,
Oh, totally.
and with a really good redemption. I give it a 10.
Well, when it comes to From Dusk Till Dawn, it's fun. I like the movie a lot, but it's getting like a hard 7 from me. Because I feel like it's just a little too inconsistent with its mood and change as far as like good movies concerned. But I like the movie and stuff, and I enjoy it a lot, and I don't like turn it off when I see it. There's also a couple cringe moments. That's okay. But you know what? It does keep that 7 solid, like a solid, maybe a 7.5 for killing a child and having his death be like the most awful thing like ever. So there's that. And then the kid never wanted to act again, apparently, after that scene. So good job.
Damn.
Anyways.
Fucking up movie careers.
Yeah. Mr. Liu no longer acted after he was eaten by zombies, and then his sister exploded him.
Yikes.
All right.
Kill me, Kate.
You can actually in that scene when he blows up, you can actually see the vampires are standing there are just mannequins with something exploding around them. It's pretty funny if you like put it on slot motion. But anyway, regardless, I'll move on to my next rating. I had too many extra things to say about this nonsense, but Bram Stoker's Dracula will get a 9 from me, only because I don't think it holds up as well nowadays. Not as well. It's still really good. Like, it was really good, but it just doesn't. I just don't think it holds up now as well as it did when it first came out. You know what I mean? So I'll give it a solid 9 because there were just a couple moments where I was like, I think that's overacting. I don't think that could have been written better. You know, sort of deal. So I have just a couple problems, but really they're very minor.
Right.
So
I was also thinking, maybe with the Francis Ford Coppola one, it could have been a little shorter. Maybe by like 15 minutes.
Like
probably
15,
could have
20
taken
minutes.
some stuff out of it. Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Yeah,
I still
bring the point home.
regardless I will say it's a 10, but if I have to go like to the lower thing at all, I would say 9.5 on a bad day.
Nice.
Yeah.
For From Dusk Till Dawn, I agree with Mitch. I'll give it like a 7. Just because I wanted more out of the characters, I think. I wanted to care about more of the characters than just the dad. Because like he's the only one I kind of cared about like the whole film. So when like when his brother dies, when the like little kid dies, I don't give a fuck about these people. And like the daughter is like non-existent in the film. So I was like, eh. And so it just had all these like cool pieces that came together.
Whoa. Can I? She stuffs her cross into a vampire's mouth and melts its head. Not non-existent. She fought some shit.
But like she says like no lines.
Yeah, that's true, but that's okay. Maybe she's just introverted and like talking.
Well, they should have given her more lines, damn it.
All right.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's one of those horror movies that it's just over the top and weird.
It is weird.
And like can you think of a movie that goes from a serious thriller to an over the top gore fest? Like I feel like we're critiquing this on a level that is like more centered towards like filmmaking when we should be considering it on a level that is just stupid fun.
It is. It's still enjoyable, and I definitely like what Mitch said. I'll watch it if it's on TV or like on a streaming thing because it's
or if my friends are like, "Yo, come over, we're watching From Dusk Till Dawn," I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, we are." With the
it's
beer.
a hilarious movie to watch with a group of people. And then Bram Stoker's Dracula, I would give like a 9 or like an 8.5, but that's just because I'm such a Coppola fanboy, but also because his whole family is legit. Like Sofia Coppola, his daughter, and Gia Coppola, his granddaughter, are both directors, and they're fantastic. And so just like to see all of them do their own work is awesome. But to know that he did so many pieces of work, and this is like one of the main ones he's known for, and it was well done. Like I feel like it's well paced. There's probably some sections, like Murr said, that could have been cut out. But I think it was just because they had the budget to do it. So they're like, we're just going to leave it all in here. Like, we don't need to cut it.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out for them. So that's how I feel about it. Do you guys have any final thoughts about either one of these?
Definitely see Bram Stoker's Dracula from '92.
Yeah, if you've never seen it.
Absolutely sit down and watch it.
Take the time because, like we said, Gary Oldman is the characters. He plays so good in all of his roles. I will say though, if you haven't seen the Castlevania Netflix series, you should do that, and then get back to me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's such a good series.
Yeah, for real. We are going to do an episode on Castlevania soon.
At some point, yeah.
It's good.
Sweet, cool. Then before I let everybody go, I just want to remind everyone we're super easy to find on all the streaming services. We're basically anywhere that you stream podcasts. So some of the main ones are going to be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can find us at our website, which is bdtghpodcast.com, and you'll be able to listen to the podcast there or follow any of the links to the social media or the streaming sites. We do have our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram, which are all at bdtgh_podcast, and you can leave comments for us, questions, recommendations. We are taking a bunch of fan recommendations for upcoming films on the schedule, and so as we get more recommendations, we'll try to fill it in and do some of the things that you guys are wanting to listen to. But thanks so much for discussing these two movies with me. I hope you guys have a good night.
Good night. I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
And I'm Jonathan. Thank you.